And welcome to the morning show. I'm Marshall Shore.
And I'm Melissa Farley. We are here at
the fabulous Arizona Center on Hump Day.
Humpity Hump Day.
Indeed it is. And so, let's start off with removal of yesterday's word and...
Which we hated again.
Awkward sentence. Hopefully this one... this actually... Stalwart.
Stalwart. We know that one.
Exactly. Marked by outstanding strength and vigor of body, mind, and spirit. The sentence is, the senator has been a stalwart defender of human rights throughout her political career. That's a very good sentence.
I approve. We approve.
Indeed.
We finally got one. Day 3 for the win. Stalwart.
Oh.
All right. We invite you to use that in your everyday conversations today.
Yeah, as opposed to Kamov.
Just forget about Kamov.
Yeah.
I already have. I don't even remember what Kamov. Oh wait, was that the violent movement one?
Okay. Yeah, or excite to passion.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Interchangeably.
Indeed. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, and we have a super special guest coming up right after this.
Oh boy.
Woohoo! Welcome back to the morning show on this Wednesday. I'm Marshall Shore.
And I'm Melissa Farley. We're here at the
fabulous Arizona Center. And we are just happy you're joining us.
We sure are.
Yeah.
It's a pretty great, are we on hump day? Is it a hump day?
It is indeed a hump day because it's Wednesday.
You should be dancing more.
I know.
Why are you not more excited?
Well, because we don't have a camel. If we had a camel, then I could get on the camel for hump day.
So excitement's reserved until the camel arrives.
Yeah.
All right.
So, let's see you in the mini horse.
Producers, make a note of that.
Well, exactly, because you want a mini horse. I would be happy with a camel.
What? The camel would be a lot more work than my mini horse. I don't know why you're acting like you're making the concession here.
I think anything with 4 legs we have to feed and clean up after would be...
Touche. All right, well, we are joined today on this fabulous hump day that Marshall's not too excited about because he doesn't have a camel, by voice actor.
Okay. See, there's your camel.
Yeah.
There you go.
We've got Adam Bullock here. Hello, Adam. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you for inviting me on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Adam, for those that don't know, that maybe aren't super familiar with your field and the industry that we are in, media and entertainment, just say exactly what a voice actor does. 101.
Well, a voice actor is anyone that records their voice for anything such as animation, cartoons, commercials, radio, movie promos, you name it. Because we're always on our phones constantly, right. And we're always seeing those darn ads or watching this endless videos online. And often enough, even if you don't see the person doing the voice, that is a voice actor. Because that's how I really discovered what voice acting was years ago, was that, I was just watching some behind the scenes features of like some DVDs. I don't know what movie, but it was a great movie. But I saw these men and women in a recording studio. And at that point, it's like my high school days, I was like, wait, that's a voice actor? Because I knew what an actor was, like we're doing right now, we're on camera. But I didn't know that's how that was another form of acting that could be done today. So, that's essentially voice acting.
So how did you end up landing in voice acting?
Good story. Well, originally I wanted to get started back when I was in my high school days. It was like 16, 17. That's why I said I discovered what voiceover was, because I was obsessed over this behind-the-scenes features of DVDs and movies. But really, I wanted to pursue it back then, but because self-doubt, like most kids do back then, I didn't pursue it for almost 10, 15 years. And it wasn't until around 2015 or so, I was like, well, I quit that job, I did that thing, I'm not happy. What makes me happy? And after really thinking about it and reflecting on it, I realized that creativity was my passion, was my thing. And after really thinking about it and really contemplating it, I'm like, well, of all the creative things I've done in my past, I thought that, well, maybe I should try pursuing voiceover again. I doubted myself, but I just wanted to get back into it. So back in around 2016, got back into training, coaching, learning all about the thing I wanted to do all over again. And then since then, just been getting into the business. And it is a fun business, but you have to be good at one thing, and that's acting. That's, I mean, it's a requirement these
Yep.
days.
Yeah.
And you have a good voice.
Of course.
So, indeed.
Yes.
So, okay, I'm going to ask, because I've been an actor for a very long time, but I've never done voice acting.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm curious, when you are doing a job as a voice actor, are you watching the thing that you're speaking as it's happening? Is that how it usually works?
That's one form of voice acting. It's more along the lines of like ADR or dubbing.
Okay.
So that's where if you see anything on the behind the scenes features of movies or see things on the internet, typically, you know, if you see that like an voice actor is looking at a screen while they're recording something in the recording studio, typically they're going to, you know, it's going to go like boop, 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 kind of like count down, and then they have to match the lip flaps of whatever character or person is on that screen at that exact same timing, and that can be very hard.
Yeah.
A lot of people that want to get into voice acting are obsessed over anime, which is like Japanese animation,
Yeah.
which is very popular with the young crowd. You know, but that's one form of character acting.
Right.
You know, and then there's like mainstream Hollywood stuff like, you know, The Simpsons or Family Guy and that kind of stuff, which is a little bit more fluid, and you don't have to always match it up.
Okay.
But they sometimes do, you know, ADR, audio, I forget what it's called, but just audio replacement of the voice to help match it up. But
Okay.
I mean, no, it's so vast. But I mean, I hope that explains.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of, I'm like, okay, let's say you're doing a cartoon character, you know, and it's like, how does that, yeah, I just never thought like chicken or the egg, like what comes first, you know, like,
course.
do you lay down the lines and then they animate it, or like, is it already done and then you're,
Sometimes it is done, you know, but most times they do storyboarding first, then they'll do what's called an animatic, which is kind of like a choppy form of like a black and white, almost looks like drawings, and then maybe they'll help with the animation process. But more or less, more times than none, they will animate to the voice. So sometimes when you see, like, say, Disney, like if they have a famous celebrity on their movies, they will sometimes try animating and designing the character that's closely resembling the actual celebrity to match with what they're doing with their body emotions. And when you actually watch the character and they actually watch the actor, you're like, oh, wait, they're so similar. But it's because they're just looking at it at the same time.
yeah, okay. So do you have a specialty? Like, what's your thing?
Well, my thing is, like, I mean, there are many forms of voice acting. You know, there's like commercial, there's audiobooks, there's e-learning, there's telephone systems. But, you know, for me, I mean, I'm open to doing all kinds of voice acting, but the one that I have most pride in is doing character work.
Okay.
As obviously, as you can clearly see behind me, you know, these are some of the
Yeah.
past stuff I've done over the last few years or so. Still expanding, some things I can't talk about. But, you know, character work has always been my passion because, you know, ever since I was a little kid, I watched these folks that are now have done the business for 40 or 50 years, and they made such an impact on me.
Right.
You know, that's kind of reason like why I want to pursue it, because if they can make such a big impact on my life, why can't I do that for other people? Because most
Yeah.
people these days, when they pursue a career, they may have an impact on a couple hundred people or more. But what if, you know, like you could actually impact millions of people, not just a couple hundred, without even knowing it.
Yeah.
And that's why I love, you know, character acting, because I've done stuff for like the Arizona Renaissance Festival, which is going on right now. Get your tickets. We got one more month happening. I've worked in the haunted house industry. I've done puppetry. And now with all those skills I got from those things, that's what helped me be a better character actor to make these characters come to life. Because if it sounds like you're reading when you're performing the script, no one's going to hire you.
Right.
You know, but that's why we love these characters like Bugs Bunny and all that, is because
Mel Blanc.
Oh
my
exactly.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we fell in love with it, because he made it believable, because he was having fun, but he's also a good actor.
Right. Yeah. So I hear you have your own production studio.
Yes, I do. It's called ABV Productions. I've been starting to do that the last couple years, because with the transition of Hollywood these days, it seems to be that, you know, going the independent route is more viable than trying mainstream Hollywood. Because as you guys may have talked about on the show or not, you know, Hollywood's changing, crumbling, reforming into hopefully something good, but like these days it's not. So we found that, when I say me, I mean, it's like me and my colleagues have found that, well, why don't you just create your own stuff? And lo and behold, you can create your own success. You know, like look at if there's like a show that kids are obsessed over. It's called like Hell of a Boss, or it's Has Been Hotel. It's like the #1 like adult animated cartoon that started as an independent project, but through crowdfunding and growing a big growing fan base because they started like on YouTube. All of a sudden one day they get picked up by Amazon, and boom, they're like the #1 adult cartoon. So it's
Yeah.
like if they can do it that route, why can't I do it on that route? Because like with my little production company, I'm starting to grow, and I don't have a website just yet, but stay tuned to my social medias for an announcement about that. I specialize in, you know, podcasting and animated, you know, cartoons for TV and short form content. I mean, there's some animated projects I can't talk about right now, but good things are happening with that. I will say is there's a great podcast I currently am developing that does feature voice actors, character actors, and animators called Just Say Hello on all podcast streaming platforms. So if you love podcasting, definitely check it out today.
Very cool. Now, you just said to keep an eye on your socials.
Yes.
What is your social handle?
So on most social media platforms, you can look at Adam Bullock VO, and just find me on there. And I'm sure you know they're going to list it right below the screen, just right there. You can also look it up at www.adambullockvo.com for more information about me and everything else that I do.
Very cool. Well, thank you, Adam. It was so cool learning from you
Thank
about what
you.
you do and about how your industry works. Please do give him a follow. Keep an eye out for updates on his production company and new works that are hopefully going to be coming out soon.
Oh,
Yeah.
you'll see.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this with things to do, celebrations, all our good stuff.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.